Welcome to Charts Today. My name is David Linton, and today's edition for Wednesday, the 25th of February, comes to you from London. And I'm running here on LSEG Workspace. In Updater, you can choose your data services. We're compatible with dozens of different data services. And in fact, if you're running on the Metastock Zenith feeds, it's the same service effectively. It's the same data. And if I change to Metastock, I would be running the same data. So this is a way you can follow me. If you're a private user or a professional user, you can use LSEG Workspace. So the data update is agnostic as to where the data comes from. We run on lots of different data services. But we start by looking at the dollar. No real action here at the moment, and we're fairly flat this morning. Looking at the short-term chart, we can see that we maybe have a symmetrical triangle building. Certainly, if we move below that low point after the tariffs reaction, then that would be bearish, and we're failing to make a higher high, so we're making a lower high after a run. So that's quite key, and anyone who's done my training courses will know that I'm very keen on Dow theory. Looking at Bitcoin, we're seeing here that upside target that was not activated. The unactivated orange target is gone. That's been negated. We've got a little upside target here, but it's counter trend. That's the bigger downside target. These ones being met is bearish confirmation as well. So really quite key. Looking at the NASDAQ, we put out a poll on LinkedIn yesterday. Follow me on LinkedIn, by the way. I've got over 33,000 followers there. We put out a poll, would we break higher or would we break lower, and which would happen first? 56% of respondents said, and those were professional hedge fund manager, etc. 56% of respondents said we would break lower, 44% said we'd break higher, and a lot of that is going to depend on NVIDIA's results today, I think, and we're going to see that in a minute. And again, we put another poll out today, but we are seeing the futures up very slightly on the NASDAQ and the E-mini. FTSE's up strongly, up 0.83%, continuing its run to target. This target was met. We've broken higher. We're now looking at that 10783 target that was given at the start of the month at 10341. So, an extra 400 points there on the FTSE. That's quite key. We're seeing Europe relatively flat, but Asia was up strongly, up sharply. We saw Japan up 1%. The Shanghai market also running higher there. That's looking good. Sensex was broke. Sensex was an anomaly. It didn't go higher. The Aussie market has broken to a new high. That's really significant. So we've broken to a new high. I can just put the levels on there so we can actually see the more recent levels on the chart, but that's really quite key that we've broken to a new high there. So that's really significant. That's on the medium-term chart, and on the 60-minute chart, that has activated a new upside target. So Australia looking strong. Those resource stocks really starting to make a difference there. Brent crude is up this morning. We were neutral in our morning call to clients. We just couldn't know which way to call it. We look at these 1-minute targets on Brent crude, and that really does give us a bit of an idea, and we had targets in both directions, and we saw gas prices lower today, but they're actually just recovering, and we were neutral on carbon. So that goes out in our morning call to energy clients every day. So the energy mix is interesting. We're seeing a bit of recovery in some of the soft commodities as well. Coffee's still a bearish chart. If we look at the daily, sugar, $14 has been their key, and they're back above that level. Looking on the short-term chart, you see had an upside target, and we're moving in that direction. So that's also been quite key. Now, gold, this is up this morning. Looking at the chart, again, we ran a poll on LinkedIn here. 70% of the market said gold would make a new high, and so this month, so by the end of the quarter, so by the end of March, 70% of the market expects gold to make a new high. That's just what the market expects. 30% expected to go lower. But the interesting thing is now that we are just seeing that quite strong recovery. we broke that 5100 level, which was pretty key. We're now trading between 5100 and 5250, and that's going to be the next level to break. Silver up 4%. That's looking stronger with upside targets. So it does look like we're seeing precious metals, and you can see here the higher low, higher high. So we are just starting to see a turnaround there in silver as well, which is quite significant. As I mentioned, the big news today will be Nvidia's results. In the UK, we see results reported in the morning before the market opens. In the US, they're post-market. So after the market closes today, will Nvidia's results actually be sufficiently stellar to break the price to the upside? Now, we've activated an upside target on the daily. We have a downside target. We're still trading this range 170, 195. That's the range. You can expect some pretty big reaction on the price tomorrow as a result of today, and we will see in the after hours, will those results really please the market? The interesting thing is on the 60-minute chart, we are seeing upside targets there. So that's going to be the key factor, is can we break this 195 level? The results need to be stellar. The October high is still pretty key there. Now looking at the Dow, it was pretty much a sea of green yesterday. LSEG, much the same picture here. We're seeing a lot of stocks up today. If we look at the charts, we see here Hiscox is the strongest performer. They've got good upside targets. HSBC also making a new high there on results. That's also quite strong. Relx, hardly a good performer, but a reactive move today. Not enough really to change the picture. We're seeing Glencore pushing all the way to their targets. So really quite a key example there. You just go right through the charts and you can see the differences. Now, one of the things I also like to do is a scan, and I ran a scan for targets greater than 25% in the FTSE 100, targets greater than 25%, and multiple targets. There were 6 stocks, and we can just have a quick look at these from the scan, and we can see here that's a recovery play. That's 3i Group. And actually it's just going to wheel through the results here. So that's Melrose. That's looking quite strong, breaking, got resistance there to think about. That's always the key thing, is you've got to look at the chart in unison. I really do recommend you do my training course, because that is really going to give you a full picture of using these. But upside targets there, train tracks, I call that. NatWest, they had strong results, did fall back a bit, but the targets are in train, and they have been going on for quite some time, since 2024, 200, we're now at 700, and those targets have been given all the way up. And if we look at Barclays, another bank, so the message is UK banks are looking strong. We saw HSBC breaking to that new high on results this morning, so really quite key. And if we continue higher there, Kingfisher, that's looking strong, broken out. This is not a buy recommendation, it's just what the chart's saying, that it's broken to new highs, and those buying thrusts have given upside potential. Big fall away there on St James's Place. We've had a little mini up target. You'd be brave there, because that fall is pretty catastrophic, and we're seeing a move back to below the previous high. So not as good example, which is why you've got to go through the results. So that just shows you how to use the targets as you're going. And if you want to try the targets, just go on to updater.co.uk, and here you'll find not only the information about the price targets, lots of free resources, our LSEG masterclasses. These are given for the London Stock Exchange every month. All they're free to watch, and if you want an intensive training course, I do recommend you do masterclass. 600 slides. Market professionals pay thousands for this, and I do recommend this is a good thing to be doing to mastering your technical analysis. So do go to updater.co.uk and take a trial. Until tomorrow, happy charting. Bye for now.